country. And that was just the start. It was Tucker Carlson, who, as usual, was the bravest man in the room, who said this.
Not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government.
Wait for it.
Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here.
The Jeffrey Epstein cover-up continued because the elephant in the room is so huge that it would be obvious if the brand-name conservative pundits weren't bringing up these questions. And to Charlie Kirk's credit, he asked her this.
Do you think there's any intel community involvement in this?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit. I am convinced, based on my own sources and my own reporting on this story, he wasn't one of ours.
So he was an American, which leads basically three options: MI6, Saudi, or Mossad.
Yep.
Which one would you choose?
I guess Mossad, given his connection to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wow!
So what does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's possible that that's the reason everything's getting buried, that there is some treasure trove, and it's getting buried because...
How many people here believe that? Raise your hand. Okay, I'd say about half the hands think that it's being buried because of an Israeli...
There is major turmoil inside the Justice Department tonight over the handling of files in the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Sources tell ABC News there was a fiery confrontation between Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, and that Bongino has told allies he may resign. Here's ABC's Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, turmoil at the top levels of the Justice Department. Sources tell ABC News of a fiery confrontation between Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino and Attorney General Pam Bondi over the department's handling of the investigation into sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Sources tell us Bongino did not come to work today and has told allies he may resign. For years, Bongino, a former podcast host, and his boss, FBI Director Kash Patel, stoked conspiracy theories over Epstein's death, insisting shadowy forces within the government engaged in a massive cover-up.
Folks, you're going to see a lot of names on that. The Epstein client list, I believe, based on what I've heard from sources and the story I just told you, basically, is going to rock the political world. There's a reason they're hiding it.
Attorney General Bondi promised to deliver answers.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's clients. Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now to review.
But this week, DOJ released a memo saying there's actually no client list at all. Bondi asked to explain.
I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that.
DOJ also said Epstein did in fact die by suicide and that there was no credible evidence found that he blackmailed prominent individuals, and declared it would not be releasing any more information about the case. President Trump on Tuesday tried to change the subject.
People still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable.
All week long, growing outrage from some of Trump's top supporters who were counting on the release of the Epstein files and are now demanding answers.